name is Benjamin Daggett, and this is Hunter Wilson. We thank you for attending T Area High School's Veterans Day program. Today's program will be opened by T Area High School math teacher, Mr. Clay Robinson. Mr. Robinson served in the Army National Guard as a UH-60 helicopter repair/crew chief from 2008 to 2014. He was deployed to COB Spiker in Tikrit, Iraq in 2010 to 2011 with the 2nd 135th GSAB in support of Operation New Dawn, where he repaired assault and medevac helicopters as well as performed crew duties on maintenance test flights. Welcome, Mr. Robinson, and thank you for your service to our country.
Good morning, T Area students, faculty, and community, and welcome to T Area School's Veterans Day program. I want to start off thanking some people that don't get thanked nearly enough on behalf of our veterans. I would like to thank the families of current and former service members, the sacrifice that families of service members. It's not mentioned enough what they do, what they have to give up to support us, so thank you. In the United States of America, Veterans Day annually falls on November 11th. This day is the anniversary of the signing of the armistice which ended the World War I hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany in 1918. The armistice ending World War I went into effect at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. The day was commemorated as Armistice Day until 1954, when after World War II and the Korean War, Congress passed a law officially renaming the day as Veterans Day to honor all American veterans. Veterans are thanked and honored for their services to the United States on Veterans Day. We ask that you give the utmost respect to today's speakers, performers, and presenters as we honor those who serve to protect our freedoms. Thank you for attending T Area High School's Veterans Day program.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Will everyone please rise, remove your cap or hat, and pay honor to America, playing of our national anthem. Please observe by standing at attention and placing your right hand over your heart. Active duty military personnel or veterans not in uniform may salute the flag or the presentation of the colors by T American Legion Post 266. Please remain standing as the T Area High School band performs our national anthem.
Forward, march!
You may all take a seat.
Good morning. Today we have gathered together to celebrate Veterans Day and offer our thanks and support to the men and women who have given service to our country. It is a day to honor those Americans, both past and present, that have bravely served in the armed forces. We'd like to take a moment to recognize the veterans in attendance as well as the T Area School District employees who are currently serving or have served in the United States military. When these people are called, please stand if you are in the gym. Please hold all applause until the end.
All T American Legion Post 266 members: Michelle Barton, Tom Bickett, Kimberly Boneharts, Jethel Curry, Don Dorn, Dick Gores, Eric Hansen, Jolene Kaiser, Travis Moulton, Clay Robinson, Patrick Staples, Jasmine Sumick, Regina Tuskin, and Rick Williamson. Any veterans or military members who are in the gym and have not been named, please stand. Let's give a round of applause for all veterans. Thank you for your service. More than 1 million American service members have died in the service of our country. More than 19 million former service members are still living today. They are a special group of Americans we call veterans. Today, we honor them and say thank you for serving.
Conducted nationwide, the VFW-sponsored Youth Essay Competition gives students an opportunity to write essays expressing their views on an annual patriotic theme. 84,000 students participated this year. Both T Area High School and T Area Middle School took part in the Voices of Democracy, with the essays being, "Why is the veteran important?" and the Patriots pen, with the essay topic being, "My pledge to our veterans." I'd like to welcome VFW member Rick Williamson, who will announce the place winners for the Voices of Democracy and Patriots pen.
Thank you. And thank you to T Area. Thanks for putting your essays in. Very tough judgment. Right now, we're going to recognize the 4 best of the Patriot pen and the 2 very best Voice of Democracies that came out to your area. 4th place in the Patriot pen. Oh, I'm sorry. If I may, each one of these students will be receiving a certificate and a check of a monetary value for their placement. We ask you to please cash the check soon, because when they don't clear in 6 months, the bank calls me. So, with no further ado, 4th place in the Patriot pen. Patriot pen is 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Jackson Johannesson. Third place goes to Rosalind Reyes. And for 2nd place in the Patriot pen, Claire Hieronymus. Now for the one that's near and dear to my heart, the Voice of Democracy. Your 2nd place winner, Brooklyn Holden.
Thank you, Rick. Top submission from T Area Middle School was Riley Gordon Clark. Riley will now leader of
Throughout our nation's history, our freedom has depended upon brave men and women who have served in our military. Many of them suffer physical injuries clearly visible to a grateful nation. However, many others suffer psychological trauma, less visible and often misunderstood and untreated. Many veterans experience intrusive thoughts, memories, flashbacks, and dreams. Coping with these things can make it very difficult to return to civilian life. Mental illnesses like post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD can go unrecognized or undiagnosed and become life-threatening. Our government must do more to address the needs of these veterans. Research suggests that as many as 16% of veterans deployed in recent wars have PTSD or depression. Some have suffered traumatic brain injuries and have suffered substance abuse disorders in which some tragic cases have led to violence and even suicide. These conditions have affected both combat veterans and general service veterans. Data from 2017 reported that on average, at least 21 veterans died by suicide every day. To cope with these crises, veterans must have access to proven treatment programs and interventions. However, these resources are not readily available at most VA hospital and health systems due to the shortage of critical mental health personnel and the general lack of support in addressing crisis intervention issues. One of the greatest challenges in addressing this problem is that only 1/3 of veterans are in the care of VA hospitals. Veterans who are employed may use their private health insurance plans, but unemployed veterans, which may be as high as 5%, find that the resources are unavailable to them due to a lack of health insurance. This could be part of the reason of the high suicide rates among them. It is clear that a large number of veterans have mental health issues as a result of their service that are not being addressed within the VA healthcare system. The United States government must make this issue its highest priority. Congress should pass laws to fully fund the VA and add mental health resources. Our freedoms exist because of the sacrifices made by our veterans. The least they should expect from us is full access to mental health care services so that they can return to happy and healthy lives as civilians. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Another round of applause.
Top submission from T Area High School was Brock Ellingson. Brock will now come read their essay on why is the veteran important.
June 6, 1944, marked the largest invasion in history, D-Day. I've always had a fascination with World War II, but D-Day has especially captured my attention. From the thoughts that went through the minds of 18 and 19-year-old kids to the horror and trauma they were about to experience. I could not imagine storming the beach. I could not imagine the gory sight. I could not imagine the sheer fact that you could very well lose your life that day. But that is what makes a veteran important, the fact that they put their lives on the line for the land of the free and the home of the brave. My dad, my uncle, my grandpas, and my great-grandpa were all in the military. I know firsthand the sacrifices they have to make. My dad has been in the Air Force for more than 30 years and has been deployed multiple times overseas to Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. I know how hard it is for not only us, but for him. Sacrificing time with the ones you love also makes a veteran important. They give up their American dream to make sure the rest of us get to pursue ours. Being an American is an honor, a privilege, but that doesn't mean we should take it for granted. In 1776, our country began. Since then, we've had our deal of hardships, like the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, war on terrorism, and many more events where mothers had to say their final goodbyes to their sons. Sacrifices of these brave-hearted soldiers have made this country prosper. Yet we are still divided. Yet people still have hate in their hearts. Yet people burn the flag of this nation. How can we disrespect the ones who had more than enough respect for us, that they were willing to die for us so that we could experience this freedom and liberty? I've always admired the veteran. I've admired the sacrifices they make and the selflessness they endure. I admire the pride they have in this country, the way they have respect for others. That's what makes the veteran important, the way they are an example to others. They show us how we can live selfless and how we can live kind-heartedly. I've always taken pride in having a dad in the service. He has always been someone I've looked up to all my life. He has been a great role model for not only me, but for the rest of my family. In 2017, my mother lost her fight to breast cancer. It broke us all, me, my brother, and my dad. But my dad is the strongest person I know. He was there for me and my brother throughout it all. My dad is a prime example of not only a service member, but a man whom I look up to. Another veteran I look up to is my grandpa. My grandpa was in the Army. He fought in the Persian Gulf War. My grandpa never misses a game and he would do anything for us. My grandpa and dad are examples, not only to me, but to all. They define characteristics that veterans possess. Through this, they have taught me respect, and especially respect for veterans and all who have served. We can never repay the veterans for what they have done for us in this country. Dating all the way back to the Revolution, our country has been made up of the idea of freedom, liberty, and democracy. Since then, that is what we have received thanks to the men and women who wear the camo, taking them for granted is what so many assume of it most of the time. Every Sunday, a World War II veteran comes into my job. He sits alone, and when he leaves a $1 tip. Every time I see him, I just want to ask about his time in the service, what he did, where he went. However, I'm always on the clock and I'm busy and I don't get the chance. I hope I'll be able to talk with him someday and be able to learn his story and thank him for his sacrifice. The reason I say sacrifice is because at a Veterans Day program the previous year, the speaker said something that has always stuck with me, which is don't just thank a veteran for their service, but for their sacrifice. Veterans endure more than we could ever imagine. They hear things we don't hear. They see things we don't see. And they sacrifice more than we could ever sacrifice. So this is why we should thank them for their sacrifice, because they endure things that we never have to. Imagine getting a draft notice. Imagine getting shipped overseas. Imagine losing a brother next to you in battle. Imagine coming home with the trauma instilled into your mind. Can you imagine these things? I can never imagine the pain and suffering. I can never imagine these experiences. And I can never imagine what they have to go through. However, this is what makes a veteran a veteran. The fact that they go through the things that we don't have to go through, so that we can have the things they don't get to have. They make sacrifices for us all, and they are why we have this great and prosperous country. So what makes a veteran important is that they would give up everything so that we could have anything.
Lincoln Poster 64 is proud to announce that we are your sponsor for the District 1 competition and hopefully on to the Department South Dakota competition. Rob, I'm going to say something special to you. When I hear essays, and I've been doing this for a number of years, about 17 years now, they move you. I sat back here and I had a tear in my eye. And I looked out there. And I've seen a lot of tears too. So I'm not alone when you move in. Riley, we appreciate all the hard work and research you did into your essay, and I wish you and our post members wish you nothing but the best in further competition. Brock, you're looking at $35,000 at the national level. It says 30 in the brochure. We just added 5,000 last month. Riley, you're looking at $5,000 or a share of $55,000 if you would place in the national competition and win first in the state. So I wish you good luck, and I hope to see you in Pier and Fit.
Congratulations to our Patriots 10 and Voices of Democracy winner. Let's give them another round of applause.
Mrs. Brannick and the band will now perform Armed Forces on Parade. This is a medley of all the service songs. We ask that all veterans and current members of the United States military stand and remain standing while the service song is played. Students, if you have an immediate family member who has served or is serving in the United States military, please stand as well.
While Veterans Day is typically a day to pay tribute to Americans living veterans, it is always appropriate to include a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for their country. Please stand and join us in a moment of silence as TAHS is played by Braden Cambier. As we stand, let us remember those who are protecting us both today, at home, and abroad, as well as those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty.
Please remain standing as the T American Legion will now begin the retirement of colors. Please remain standing until all colors are retired.
Color guard, retire the colors. Forward. Up.
You may have a seat. Just one quick announcement. The T Veterans Day Memorial will be dedicated today at 4 p.m. at the memorial site across from the American Legion. The Veterans Memorial will honor and forever remember both living and deceased T area veterans. T can take great pride in the patriotism that will be displayed for many years with so many of our men and women bravely serving in the military. We want to ensure that our veterans are never forgotten and forever appreciated. The memorial is built to honor 288 veterans. To date, we have 114 pavers purchased. Newest veteran is from the Afghanistan War, and the oldest veteran is from the Civil War. Thank you to the community for making this possible.
Thank you all for attending T Area School District's Veterans Day program. Students, take a seat and wait for further instructions.
All right, so a couple of instructions before we transition here. I'm first going to have the middle school start the 6th grade. I believe is going to go out.